We are so close to the end now. However, I'm not going to do GP10 in this episode to end off the world tour, because we still have a few more things we need to collect. So what my plan is, I'm going to do whatever 5 events are left prior to me doing the Grand Prix, and then afterwards I am going to get those other 2 signature takedowns, and then probably spend the next 1 or 2 episodes getting the challenges done. Because I kind of want to end off this game with the GP, if you know what I mean. Anyway. So, GP10 is located in Eastern Bay. However, we have 4 races to do in that, after I did my internet research. As once we're done with this, we will get the end credits. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to set our sights on getting through whatever is left of these, starting with the Burning Lap at Motor City Short, and where we have got the Logitech World Racer. I think this is meant to be based off of an IndyCar, I suppose. Well, I might as well get a picture of it, since I have not really gotten a picture of one of the open wheelers yet. I think to me this seems like the logical step. Plus you're not having to do it as early as you did in Burnout 3. Okay, I think that's enough. Let's take this pony out. So 54 seconds is what we need for a gold, 108 for a silver, and a 134 for a bronze. This is either going to be pretty easy or it's going to be pretty hard, the way things are looking. And it looks like at this stage in time, they might just be hard. Dependent on how many times I crash. And already there's the first one. No. Even though it's basically a rectangle course, certainly not an easy course. I know that for sure. Can I at least get the silver? Doesn't look like it. That car right at the end fucked me. I just missed out on the silver because of that car showing up. Yeah, we're trying this again, no questions, alright? We weren't even good enough for great. Okay, we need to try this again as soon as the game reloads. This was awful. I have no idea how I did that fucking 93 minutes later, but somehow, some way, I managed to set a sub 54. I set a 53.8 to be precise. And basically all that took was me just basically getting on with the lap in silence, and then surprisingly it actually paid off. This lap was an absolute asshole. There is no other way of saying it, it was a total asshole. But it's done now, and we'll move on to the next. Hopefully one that won't take anywhere near as long as this one did. Well, so glad that's done. And we don't unlock anything. At this point of the game, I'm honestly not surprised. So, aside from the Grand Prix, we've got one event to do at Eternal City, and we've got these 5 events at Lone Peak. And you know what? Yeah, I'm not doing the burning lap again. Fuck that. I just went through one absolutely hellacious lap. I want to actually do something that is race related. I think this time, you know what? Let's use the Criterion Racer and see how we do. I think I can take my chances on this thing around here. After finally making it through the burning lap with the Logitech World Racer, we're actually doing another race event. In other words, we're literally and figuratively doing an actual race, which is great relief to me because it means we can actually do something except basically trying to run our heads straight through a concrete wall. I turned too soon. Okay, someone is going to die before this is all over. I guarantee someone before this is all over is going to die. And I get no one caught up in the trailer park. And apparently I escaped a wreck. I don't know how though. At this point in time, the only thing I really want to do is just make sure that I somehow get to the end of this. I really thought for sure he was going to wreck me, but I wrecked him instead. I was honestly thinking to myself for sure he was going to kill me, but apparently it turned out to be the opposite and I killed him instead. Which is honestly greatly surprising. How did I survive that? I have no idea how I survived that. I have no idea how I survived that either. And this time I actually get through the shortcut the right way. And that is by keeping my car straight. Okay. Okay. Right, okay. Can I somehow stay in this? Or somehow stay at the top? I would greatly appreciate it if I could, and I do. I think that was only my second attempt in which I did that. Hey, we actually get another new car unlocked. Took me 5 events completed today for us to actually get another car. Wonder which one it is this time. Let's find out. Okay, we've now got the prototype R205 GT. Is this going to be the final car we unlock in terms of our progress? It probably will be. But either way, we have our first... yeah, our first Lone Peak race now done. And at this point, we've only got a burning lap around Eternal City, and we've also got an eliminator. Have I got the 4-way payback thing in this? Oh, it's not on this challenge sheet. Okay. Well, anyway. So we've got a burning lap around Lone Peak. Hopefully it won't be anywhere near as painful as what the other one was. And we're doing it in the open wheeler again. Okay, I think I see where the pattern is now. So our last actual race before the Grand Prix is the Eliminator around Lone Peak. And I think you already know what car it is I'm going to use because, well, why not? The prototype R205 GT. Probably the last car we unlock in this game before we get on with everything else that we still haven't finished. Okay, let's go. Oh, here we go. Our final non-burning lap event here in Tier 10. And I think this is also the final eliminator of the game as well. So I think overall we've done a total of what? 14, 15 eliminators up to this point? To put it simply, we have done a lot. But I will definitely say some of these events, I will just be glad to have got them finished more than anything else. Come on. Right. Okay, we're off to a start. Now, I have to somehow make sure I stay at the front. The only way I can really do that is without wrecking too much. Okay. I just avoid being the first one out. I barely got out of that. That was honestly on the razor's edge of being eliminated. Oh, okay, the game decided not to wreck me this time. You know what? I'm just going to stay off the boost for the construction site. I think this area is deadly. And it's really not worth it to try. Okay. Going deep into the right this time. And and okay, I get double payback, which is a relief, because otherwise I would have been eliminated. But thankfully, I was not. I actually stayed in it. And now I am out of it. Unless this shortcut saves me. Somehow. And I think it does. Because I am out front. And I get a van takedown. Alright, 2 left. I really need to stay out front for this. I need to make absolutely sure I do not crash. That's pretty much a must at this point. If I crash now, it's all over. I need to make sure I stay out of crashing. I need to do it. Okay, I'm safe. And it was the Euro Classic Racer who was my last opponent. Okay. So glad this is now done. And we don't get any further rewards. Probably not too surprising. But we've now got 2 burning laps to go, and then afterwards we can pretty much focus on getting through the challenges and getting the other 2 takedowns. Oh, okay. So apparently we've now reached 100%. For completing the game to 100%, we've now got the Revenge Racer. Okay, I'm going to assume that must be for all the race events that we just beat. We're still yet to beat the Grand Prix and the other things, but I would assume that must be for all the race events, I would assume. Is it actually 100%? It is 100%, in spite of me still having 3 events left. Okay, don't know how that works, but it works, I guess. Although I am going to get tried and true 100%. So we've got 3 events to go. We still need another 7 cars. 53 challenges are still done for now. We've got over 2,500 takedowns and 111 on the Revenge takedowns. However, I'm actually pretty tired now, so yeah, I think what I will do next is get on with claiming those other 2 signature takedowns, and then afterwards that'll pretty much be the end of the episode. But right now, I'm exhausted, I need a break, and I also need to get on with some video editing, so see you again when I see you again. Right, okay, time for part 2 of this episode. And where basically I have got to go absolutely balls to the wall for both of these events before the GP. Now the GP we're obviously not doing yet because, well, I kind of want to get the things I haven't done out the way before I get on with this, so then I can get on with GP10 with a clear head knowing that everything else is done. So we've got 1 burning lap around Lone Peak in this thing, and we've also got another burning lap around Eternal City in this thing. I think you can very much see the picture. I think because Lone Peak is shorter than Eternal City, that's where we're going to head first. In the Logitech World Racer. Let's see how much of a shambolic pain in the ass my pace is going to be. Okay, so we need a 118 for a gold, a 132 for a silver, and a 158 for a bronze. Thankfully, I do not have to do a burning lap around Eastern Bay. The one thing I know I am going to have to do is I need to minimise the contact with the traffic as much as I possibly can in order to really get the gold. I should have taken that shortcut. Something tells me these shortcuts are going to be crucial towards getting the gold here. And yet, at this point in time, I am currently taking none of them. Which means this lap is not exactly going to be, well, fast. And already there is my first wreck, and probably far from the last. Yep. And ultimately my shambolic pace is immediately showing up. I really don't know why I keep just hurtling towards that median. It's almost like I have a magnet attached or something, because that's now my third wreck of the lap already. And now I have to make that 4. Yeah, my pace at the moment really is shambolic. This absolutely farcical lap. Okay. We need at least 18 seconds if we are gonna get the gold for this. We have got a shitload of work to do to show that we can be faster than this. And also taking the shortcuts might not be a bad idea either. Fuck you. You ain't crashing me, if you know what's good for you. You're literally gonna have to pummel me to death if you want me to be taken out. I'm technically talking to the car when I say that. I know that pummeling is very painful. But I definitely feel like this car has pummeled me up to this point of the lap. Like it's honestly just been throwing me around like a lifeless dummy. And basically just backfiring at me Tom Clancy style. But somehow, after 26 minutes of trying, that took way less time than what the first burning lap did. I mean, the first burning lap took me over an hour and a half to get the gold, but this one only took me 26 minutes, and to that I am greatly relieved. However, we now have to head over to the one course that I consider to be the bane of my existence in this game. Eternal City. Okay. Now that just leaves one left. Eternal City. As soon as we get this one over and done with, we never have to do this again. Motor City was absolute hell. Lone Peak, I think that was controlled hell. As for this one, however, we'll just have to wait and see. I also just heard a helicopter passing over my house because I could hear the propeller. Figured that's just something I would point out. Alright, 137 is the gold, 151 the silver, and 217 the bronze. We'll definitely get the bronze. But as for getting the gold, however, I think that remains to be seen. Especially because of just how much chaos normally tends to ensue when the traffic is busy. I totally did that to myself. That was entirely my fault. I was not concentrating on where the road was. That one was on me. Still got 2 signature TDs I need. And I think I might be able to get those. But of course, before I get those, I need to get this thing out of the way. And I think I can do that. As long as I manage to put together a full lap without crashing. Although because I've already crashed, I doubt this one is going to be a gold. Unless the game somehow lets me off. And it doesn't. Something that, in all honesty, I could basically see coming. I turned slightly too soon. Yeah, you really want to know why I hate Eternal City? Well, number one is the walls. And the other reason is because it's normally overcrowded when it comes to traffic. And it's not even going to be a silver either. I feel like I should have wrecked right before the finish, just to show my displeasure for this place. But we have to try again, so that's what we're doing. As soon as I get the gold for this, I never have to do this again. It's just one. Once we're done here, we can basically finish the signature TDs, which is what I want to do. I have no idea how I was able to deliver that, but There are two things I can confidently say for sure. First of all, fuck Eternal City, and second of all, fuck the Logitech World Racer. This absolute glass cannon of a car I just drove, it really pushed me so hard to the point where I think it has broken me at least twice. And right now, I'm really questioning if whether or not I have enough energy to actually go and get those 2 signature takedowns. Because part of me wants to say yes, but part of me also says no. So I don't know what to do. I'll probably think of something. You know, I was really thinking for sure that one burning lap I just did was honestly going to break me to the point where it literally made me quit. But unlike a few crash zones that I did in this game where I actually did quit once, I actually got through this after over 2 hours of recording for this part of the episode. So anyway, we're now just one event away from finishing the game. However, we still have the 2 signature takedowns we need to go after, so you know what? We might as well go and get those. Right, okay, this is not the course we need to go to. Where we actually need to go is on the reverse course. And probably the long course as well, if I can find it somewhere. This is probably my best shot of getting there. I know where the signature TD is, but the issue is I need to make sure I get it. So, you know what? I think I'm going to use the Black Elite Racer because it's not super light, and also because I feel like I've had success with this thing before, so let's use the Black Elite Racer instead of the Revenge Racer. Okay, he's still with me. Really gotta make sure one of these guys stays with me. Yes! There we go. 16 minutes later. I knew I could get it. It was just a matter of how I got it. Now I have to finish this race. And I got revenge on the guy who wrecked me. Well, I sure know as hell I'm not winning this race. But I think second is fine for me because what's important is I got the all-important prize, which was the signature TD. And now all I have to do is get the last remaining one. Oh, the leader's right there. You know, in spite of me coaxing for most of this race, I did not think the leader was actually going to be right there in front of me. Because pace-wise, I really felt like I was coaxing, but somehow I wind up retaking the lead. And it's going to be a close one. We're definitely locked in battle at this point. But can I stay ahead? And looks like I will be. No one behind me. And I got the all-important prize of the signature, which is all I care about. Now let's head to White Mountain for our final signature takedown. Alrighty then, we have our first one. So there we go, we've got stares in their eyes. And now, all we have left is rock the clock. And that is at White Mountain. Okay, I think I have found precisely which road rage event it is we have to select, and I think it's this one. Because I am pretty sure it's the forward course where we will be facing the entry of the clock tower. And if I can manage to survive long enough, then I might just have a shot of getting what should be our last signature takedown of the game. I thought about using the Revenge Racer, but because it's super light, I think it's also fragile. So we're going to use the Black Elite Racer for our final signature TD like we used for Eternal City. Because I have a better shot of getting it with this thing than I do with the Revenge Racer. That's just what I think. Anyway, let's try and see if we can get it, and see how long this takes. I honestly do think this is going to be the most infuriating challenge I have to beat in this game. I really do. Ah, finally! Fucking 1 hour and 4 minutes later. I never thought I was actually going to get that. I was honestly so close to quitting. But yet, right there at the end, I actually got it. The game actually gave me a freebie. And thank Christ for that. Because I really was on the verge of giving up. Huh, somehow that counted towards a signature. Anyway, damage critical, probably not going to last enough time at this point, so might as well just end the run at some point, or I can just end it there, and I end with 21. You know what, I got the signature, I don't care anymore. That was all I wanted, and that's precisely what I got. And now we can actually end this godforsaken episode. Alright, we got it. The 24th and final signature takedown of the game is now ours. And do we get anything? No, we don't. Well, that's a shame. But I suppose it's understandable because we do, of course, have the challenge sheets to beat. But either way, doesn't matter. We've got our accolade at last. We just needed to get that clock tower takedown, and then we would actually be done with this. And I think because White Mountain is probably the track I hate the most in this game, this is probably where we're going to start the next episode. And I need a high score target of 10 million. So I think this is probably where we start the next episode. Anyway, let's now have a look at our stats. So, after all that, we've now moved up to 2,900 takedowns. And still 53 challenges completed. But what's important is we got all the signature takedowns. We scored our last 2. And now all that's left is for us to get through the challenge events, because I really want to clean those up before we go through the last Grand Prix. So, next up on Burnout Revenge, completing the track challenge sheets.